Yema ebusuafo nyinaa akwaba sonko ade oba daily update so. Hana ba binya training news a ekoso ɛwɔ Ghana man nyinaa. Yɛsrɛ wo sɛ ɛnɛ ne deɛ ɛdi kan ɔba subscribe to our channel no na afei nso ɔwɔ adwenkyerɛ bi a bɛtumi de aba wɔ comment section hɔ. Yɛni bɛtumi agye ba afei nso ama mfi so bɛhyɛ ama wadamfo anaa nua so nya bi ahwɛ. Yɛsɛ go to our page. Yeah, is it Adongo aba one thing publicly na ɔka sɛ ɛyɛ promises a ɛyɛ Adongo Akufo-Addo ɛne Bawumia promise Ghanafoɔ no a still na wɔn nti so no ɔdwene ho a wɔnte ase. Wɔpromise ɛyɛ aba adwumayɛfoɔ sika bi alawa deɛdeɛn ne nyinaa wɔatwitwitwam. Ɛberɛ a wɔkasa no na ɔka sɛ ɛyɛ Bawumia no ɛyɛ ɔkɔ Northern region na ɔkɔ ha sei na ɔkɔyɛ promises ne adeade. Yɛka sɛ 2016 no yɛba bɛto aba no ɛna ɔkɔ promise amanfo bebree ɛde fa yɛ politics one factory ne adeade bebree a ɛsɛ nkɔde bɛba no ne nea wamfa mba. Nanso ɛberɛ a Adongo kɔ no ɔka sɛ wɔnim sɛ you are rich ɛyɛ Ghanaian di a wɔnim sɛ bɛyi sɛ ɔsɛ sɛ bɛyi na ɛyɛ ɔmo sɛ den o wɔnim nsɛm ayɛ a Adongo ka angrily no ɔkasa nti so kama wo ne nkɔtie a Adongo yɛba ne ato ne nkɔmmɔ.
Because he knows he has 4 years. We are willing to have some suggestions and some proposals of what Dr. Bawumia will do. I think that is what Ghanaians are waiting for. But you know the difficulty with him saying what he will do, because you have a deficit. You have not accounted for your experiments. One district, one factory, you ended up painting old factories, Kasapreku. Kasapreku, they set up Kasapreku when you were rolling in Samuel Fraser. When you were roaming in Zimbabwe, helping, what was the name? Robert Mugabe bring inflation to 1,000%. And you were a consultant to him. Your output was that in Zimbabwe, you could not tell the price of a bread. In one day, it would change 4 times. Dr. Bawumia, that's what he delivered to the people of Zimbabwe. At that time, Kasapreku was busy building the next generation of business in our country. How can Kasapreku be your one district, one factory? How? If not wizard or what do you call it? Kasapreku to me one district, one factory. Where is the factory in Kulungungu? Or they are not part of Ghana. So it is a very, very serious business to find the solutions to our problem from 2025. We are aware that the expanded economy will give the government of John Dramani Mahama to tap into that revenue, to generate revenue. And the people of Ghana would see that we've raised the chicken and the hen that will lay the golden eggs. So we will not get the the eggs by chance, no. We will not raise the revenue to GDP by chance. That we want to grow the economy because we know that growing the economy, increasing productivity would solve 2 major problems. It will increase our income base for us to tax in order to grow the revenue. So we can now develop the country without necessarily having to worry about the fact that the capital market is closed to us. But we will address an emerging risk to our country, which is the unemployment of the youth. It means just at the passport office alone, if there are 10 people there who are processing passports, you have 10 people in waiting to come to work when they have closed. Those people are currently sitting at home. I hope you understand. People who are queuing for security jobs, we will need them to improve our security and reduce crime rate in order to give safety and assurance to our people that you can go to work at night and be safe. our workers who are struggling to earn good income, every employer, when you generate more, you share with your workers. So if the employer knows that the factory that are set up, I have invested 100 million on the equipment. Whether the equipment are used or they are not used, I will pay. And has the opportunity to get those equipment to work 8 more hours more and generate more resources. It's equivalent to generating output for free. Your productivity goes up, your profit goes up, and you have something to share with your workers. Okay. So we are focused on solving the problems of our country. The 24-hour economy is just one of those game-changing policies that will be announced in the future. We are with our opponents, not lies, not experiments. We want what you can deliver as a safe pair of hands. Ghanaians are not willing for experiments. It's not about big English. It's not about conning the people. It's not about telling them what they want to hear. It's about understanding the constraints within which you will manage the economy and deliver policy options that leverage that constraint. So that's what we will do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, I'll come to Mr. Solomon Newz. So he was
not on the campaign platform. And you didn't legislate. And yet to go around telling us that you have built factories. So you should tell him that it's not about legislation. Of course, there will be a tweak in the regulatory environment, because if our labor laws, okay, do not, is an obstacle, we will review it. So whichever laws inhibit the workers' rights to fair compensation will be reviewed. But that is not to legislate 24 hours, but to eliminate injustice and provide fair treatment of workers and employers. Okay? If it means that government will spend its mega resources to provide adequate security for people in the night, that will be a judicious use of the little resources that we have, and we will have that. If it is to encourage nighttime transport to help these people when they need to go home and go to work to have access to it, we will do that. If it means that we need to provide some infrastructure that allows the state to have a clear view of crime and crime-related events in the country in order to promote that, we will spend our meager resources on that. Won't that be better than digging a hole and calling it a national cathedral? Won't that be better than renting a private jet? So we would prioritize our meager resources in order to deliver improved economic outcomes. Benefits of 24-hour economy. You saw recently they were celebrating a projected GDP. Or you didn't hear that?
1 trillion.
1 trillion.
Yes.
They have not achieved it all. It's not as if Ghana has a 1 trillion economy. Just the thought of it, wishful thinking. We know you when you promise us you deliver something, how it ends up. When they said they were moving from taxation to production, Aboso Okai people, Kokompe and Swami, people celebrated. Do they listen to budget these days? Do you see them listening to budget? The other time they took joint cameras there, they almost smashed them. That is how these people's promises of 1 trillion looks like. When Bawumia went to Agbobloshi and told the people he would build a 32-seater toilet, you remember? Yeah. When he realized that he could not build it, he came and removed the people from there. It is when you are sitting there that you'll be asking for your toilet, isn't it? They relocated them, they sacked them. When he said that every Ghanaian would get a bank account, he collapsed the banks. So we can't even find the banks to go and open those accounts. When people were tired of putting their monies under the pillow and decided to go and get a wallet, he followed them there to remove his money. He follow them there with e-levy? You don't remember e-levy?
I do.
Didn't he follow them after he trapped their money in their wallets to go and remove their savings as taxes? So when these people promise you 1 trillion, you have to be careful. But 1 trillion of what? Is it 1 trillion of output? Or is it 1 trillion inflated by price? So if you have 1 trillion and to go and buy ingredients in the market, Joyce has to carry money in my bag, or Ghana must go to go and buy it. Will you prefer that, or you prefer the economy where you can go and buy your things with monies in your purse? So it's about price. It's not about output. When they were drinking Calipo, it was 50 pesos. You remember that? Yeah. Today, why are they not drinking? Because Calipo is now 7 cedis. Do you see? When they were insulting Kokonte that it was called face the wall, face the wall, you were buying Olonka or flour, Kokonte flour, for 120 cedis. Today, 500 cedis. That is a 1 trillion economy. And they are there laughing. Very soon they will give chop money in the house in my bags, and what do you call it? Ghana must go, because that is how the prices are heading. When you have 54% inflation, without doing anything, you will get that 1 trillion. We want to create a 1 trillion economy based on
every conversation question and trust no can say a year promises are or promises a year napco for a napo for more semi hope. Say where we school university pass do a good teacher. No about one thing was the teacher can say a man 7 million. Now what I mean company who is saying now unkwana wote chawo danka na ene danka kwa bi chanese na no kwampu no maintenance ya Adongo can say 3.6 billion. I was saying God is shutting up for ni ma just say omo money awa what nefi or no yeah only John money hama or my buying a batia 3.6 billion now like omo who the omo fanya omo use my thing when be say me bruni sene be ya omo my back now so I employ mo say we a doctor ni I employ. No wonder I say I'm on food to go free Ghana. Now go visa, maybe on my visa, maybe on my passport. He was down, be done. Information I say next is for me, it's for my free Ghana. No, I can go almost 2 million. Sorry, come on, you go to a year. I don't go. In same year that to ja and find up go phone. Any unemployment for now, just say into your more canny idea, you don't question now go for more. Linear money won't share no. So come in good here.
it. We are thorough, we are deliberate about it. But of course, we are Democrats. We believe that Ghanaians can even help improve it better. So yes, constructive criticisms we accept. But unnecessary outbursts, tantrums, and arrogance, we will not tolerate that. Because that is not what the 24 economy is about. The 24 economy is about touching the youth. You failed the people of Ghana when you said NAPCO, still a burden on the fiscal. When we told you that that is not a better way to address unemployment, you went on the campaign platform and shouted it. Today, you've wasted 3.6 billion on the youth, and yet they are sitting at home. That is not what we want to do. We will put that 3.6 billion in providing the enabling environment that allow the private sector and some aspects of the public sector to unleash the 24-hour economy. 70,000 of them have joined the Unemployed Youth Alliance. Yeah. You are aware of that?
Yes.
You collapse your own flagship program right under your feet. It's not as if you left government. Assuming these people had left government and we came and said, look, there's a problem. They say, the incompetent people, they have come to sack the youth. You sack them. They brought e-levy. They told you it was what will solve all the problems of this country. I remember my big brother Kesi called it Akroma. What has happened? You start. Have you seen any you start somewhere? So we are dealing with an economy that is very challenged. We are dealing with an economy they will hand over to us that have set boundaries of limitations. How do we go about it? How do we go about it? And if only 24-hour economy will give him the tantrums, he should wait for more. Because John Mahama has had 7 years to think around solutions to our country. Judge Bauer knows the number of times he calls experts to his office. We've held series of office, fine-tuning various programs. Anytime you meet him, Adongo, how are we going to deal with these issues? Please give me a concept note on unemployment. He's picking those thoughts and scanning through and asking the relevant questions that the man on the street would ask. Just so he has a program to let him hit the ground running. On increase economic activity. Increase output. If His Excellency realizes that aviation is becoming expensive because the owners of the airlines, they go and lease the aircraft. In some instances, they do a wet lease, which includes all the cabin crew on a 24-hour basis, but they work for only 8 hours. If you explore the opportunity to make those airlines have their planes in the air, even for 16 hours, they will be doubling the utilization of the aircrafts. So it will make sense to go to Boga and build an airport. It will make sense to go to Sunyani or Wa and expand the runway. Because by doing that, you'll be creating activity in aviation. You will be making it possible for them to bring down their fares. They are increasing their fares because they must recoup the lease that they are paying for 24 hours and using the aircraft only for 8 hours, with 16 hours grounded and paying for. If we can get them to utilize those 16 hours, that will be tripling output in the aviation sector without a burden on the economy, except to invest in infrastructure and facilities that will make that possible. So 24-hour economy is not a shouting match. And I want some people to know that the 2024 election won't be a shouting match. It will be a contest of ideas. It will not be about who can attack and mock better. It will be about who can provide solutions based on the constraints of the economy. Based on the constraints of the economy. We did not come to 24-hour economy lightly. We came to 24-hour economy bearing in mind the kind of a mess and shattered economy that they will give us. So we must find innovative ways to address that problem without putting further burden on the people of Ghana. Of course, some people brought naive experiments, but Ghanaians are now wiser for it. There is nowhere you are going to get the benefit of the doubt that you had the last time. Now the doubt has been removed. We now know that you are as good as who you are. One village, one dam went and constructed how do you call that? Went and constructed gutters and dugouts. When we are in January, there's no water in it for even a chicken to drink. Naive experiments. 1 million per constituency. It's been 7 years. I should have had $7 million in dollars in Boga. You know what that would have done? We are here. naive experiments. Zongo Development Fund will change the face of Zongo. We are where we are. Naive experiments. Moving from taxation to production. Remember their first budget? I said, hey, because Ghana's economy is an economy of significant institutional and structural rigidities. And so to give stimulus, you must eliminate those rigidities in order to make expansion of productivity possible. Ashanti say, "Ofiti preko power boss here moja nede eba." You must address. You see, they major on minor things, and minor on major things, because the minor things are easier. You say, oh, we have you can now apply for passport online. I mean, that kind of thing, you know, sloganeering. Of course, we know that there are downsides to the 24-hour economy. There are risks to the 24-hour economy, some of which I have mentioned already. Security. So you address that. You don't complain that it is not workable. You consciously work at addressing that. And we are deliberate about it. We are deliberate about it. We are deliberate because we have thoroughly talked through what the risks and
for for say video and I say audio menu ya boy. Ekɔ na ewie no sɛ w'ani gye ho a wobɛtumi akɔmmɛnte ɛwɔ comment section hɔ. Na afei nso wobɛtumi nso ahyɛ ama ɔdamfo so anya bi ahwɛ na wo subscribe so a bɛtumi nso asubscribe ama yɛn. Na me madwen kyerɛ de fa ɛyɛ saa audios mmienu anaa content ama create no ɛde fa sɛ ɔka sɛ naive experiment. Ɛka be naive a that means sɛ nipa kɔ no ɛnyɛ or lack experience kakra. That is lack of experience. Now, if you say I will do this, I will do that. Not done I share. And on a year I don't go at this our word naive at the diploma. Now, me when say like a right word. But one just do one factory. No ako a casapreco. Wako painting it nay home. They die once 100 to one factory. Blossom on fire. So be humble for my moon see a time. Imagine so one. It will be as by daily update.